Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Xander Foster, and today I'm getting a little controversial. Today I'm going to be answering some questions, and I say that this is controversial because a lot of these questions have the trans community sort of divided, and I want to make it clear that I'm not speaking on behalf of the entire trans community or even a sub-community within the trans community. I am simply stating my opinions and my views, and you are more than welcome to disagree with me. And please, if you hear me say anything very ignorant or uneducated, then please correct me, share your views with me, and let's have a conversation. If you have any questions that I do not answer in this video, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. If you want to hear my views on a specific topic or argument, I would love to make more of these videos in the future, so let's get into it. Son, I've been home all day and you have not drank from your water bottle once. And now I have sat down to film and you are suddenly thirsty. I think he gets thirsty hearing me talk. Like every time I'm on the phone or filming, he's like, now would be a great time to drink water.
Finally got a foot off my chest, couldn't take a breather.
He's looking me dead in the eyes. All right. So Charlie wants to know my opinions on neopronouns, non-dysphoric trans people, and MOGAI. In case you are not aware, neopronouns are pronouns for people who fall outside of the gender binary, so people who do not identify strictly as male or female will use things like zeanderthal in replacement sort of they them pronouns or the traditional binary pronouns. My opinion on neopronouns and all pronouns in general is you can go by whatever the heck you want to go by, and I will do my best to respect that. I will never intentionally misgender someone. I think that is incredibly disrespectful, and I know how that feels, and it's kind of just an a-hole thing to do. That doesn't mean I have to fully understand why you would choose to go by a specific pronoun, and to be honest, I don't understand what zeanderthal accomplishes that they, them, theirs does not. I understand someone identifying as neither male or female, or a combination of the two, or a variation on the two, but it's never been explained to me what zeanderthal does that they, them doesn't. So if you use neopronouns, feel free to educate me in the comments. Non-dysphoric trans people is a tough one. I made a video on this in the past. It was a few months ago though. Like I said in that video, I do not understand how you could be transgender and not have dysphoria. Every trans person I've ever met who has chosen to transitioned to alleviate dysphoria and for no other reason. If someone was assigned female at birth and they came to me asking me if they should transition and they don't have dysphoria, but they like masculine clothing, traditionally masculine roles, I don't understand why they would want to transition. I would probably ask them why they think they're trans and talk to them about some of the experiences that they've had. From where I'm sitting, that just sounds like a masculine woman, but to each their own. I will never go up to someone and tell them that they're not trans. I touched on this in my last video, but I really do think that we need to be lifting each other up and being as inclusive and welcoming as we can in this community. And telling someone that they're not trans, I don't think helps anybody. That being said, I have heard people come out and say that they were pressured to identify as trans, or they were even pressured to transition in some cases. And for that individual and the trans community at large, I think that can be just as problematic. The responsibility that I feel called to hold is to be as welcoming as possible and also educate people on trans experiences and share my experience as one trans person that's part of this community. The last thing that Charlie wanted to hear my opinions on was MOGAI. I had to look this up because I did not know what it stood for. In case you're like me and didn't know what this stands for, it stands for Marginalized Orientations, Gender Identities, and Intersex. From my understanding, the concept behind this initialism is it being more inclusive and more of an umbrella term for what we traditionally call the LGBT community. When I was reading up on MOGAI, I really wanted to support it, and I really wanted to get behind it, but I just couldn't. There are two problems I have with MOGAI, the second of which I think is more relevant than the first. But the first is I don't have a problem with LGBT, or LGBT plus, or LGBTQ, or LGBTQQIAP plus. I think because I am transgender, and transgender as an identity is included within LGBT, and that might be part of the reason why I don't have a problem with it. And I understand why someone would not want to identify as queer. I also understand why someone would want their identity specifically mentioned in the initialism that is supposedly representative of their community. But honestly, I just don't feel a connection to MOGAI, and I sort of feel like I'm comfortable in my LGBT club, and anyone is welcome to join my LGBT club and stay for the snacks that will be served at my LGBT club. But if you don't feel affirmed or safe or connected to everyone in this group, you can have your own MOGAI group, and that's fine. But I don't think we need to take away LGBT as an initialism from the community, because there is so much history attached to LGBT. There was a time when LGBT was just gay men. There was a time when LGBT was just lesbians and gays. There was a time when LGBT did not include trans people, and for that reason, I really, really want to support MOGAI, and I really, really want to expand my consciousness to be most inclusive of all people. However, the second problem I have with MOGAI, and what I think is probably going to be my most controversial statement in this video, is MOGAI as an initialism reminds me a lot of this victim mentality that a lot of LGBT people, especially young LGBT people, fall into. I do not feel affirmed being called MOGAI or being lumped into this MOGAI community, because I do not identify as my identity as marginalized. Yes, trans people are marginalized, but I am not going to sit here and put in my Twitter bio MOGAI. I think bringing awareness to the marginalization of trans people is critical for our community, but I'm not going to wave the victim flag and play the victim card. For me, where I am in my life right now and how I identify, LGBT is affirming, it promotes everything I believe in, and I feel like I have an inclusive and beautiful community that I'm a part of because I identify as LGBT. That being said, if you identify as MOGAI, I will respect that to the end, and I will stand behind you and do everything I can to affirm your identity in the best way I can. Daniel was curious to know my opinion on trans trenders. If you don't know what a trans trender is, basically it is someone who is cisgender but identifies as transgender either for attention or for sympathy or because they think it's a new fad that they'll try out for a little while. This isn't going to be surprising to anyone who watches my videos, but even people who I believe are cisgender, I will never walk up to them and say, "You're not trans." I am never going to go online and under someone's video about them coming out as trans, comment, "You're not really trans, and here's why." That aside, I think telling people who are traditionally gender non-conforming that they are transgender is just as harmful as telling someone that they are not, in fact, transgender. I don't know if that was too vague. If you want me to go into greater detail on my opinion on trenders, then just drop me a comment and maybe I'll just make a whole video talking about trans trenders again. Alright, well, my phone stopped recording, but we're back. This isn't a question and it's definitely not controversial, but I did feel like I should address it. On my Trans Guy Reacts to Girl Defined video, a user named Carter Tran commented, "You kind of look like young Justin Blake." And to that, I want to say, you're not the first person to say that. Also, thank you, I guess. He's a good-looking dude. I do think that I'm actually older than him, so bummer that I look like a young version of him, but it's fine. We are both trans guys from Minnesota, so Maybe it's something in the water. I don't know if there's a correlation there. I think that's all the questions I'm going to answer for this controversial Q&A. If you have any questions, whether they're controversial or not, please drop them in the comments. I would love to answer them, maybe make another video if you guys enjoy this one. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a like. If anything I said today touched you or made you think of anything in a new light, then drop me a comment. Let's have a conversation about it. If there's someone in your life that you think needs to watch this video, then please share it with them. And if you want to see more from me in the future, then subscribe. Stay sweet.